Generally, my thought is that this is turning into more or less of a Rorschach test, so to speak, to take a look at what your philosophy is and shows you what your philosophy is around the entire technological ecosystem. I think that if you're of the perspective that AI is something that needs to be tightly controlled, then this could be perhaps perceived as something as the OpenAI board affecting its charter and its mission to ensure the safe development of generative AI and of AI in general. However, if you're of the opinion that the board was afraid or did not like the push towards commercialization, but that also you have a philosophy that one should be accelerating the innovation and accelerating the ability to drive commercialization of valuable AI models, then this could be seen as a coup made by a board that was afraid of where the profit motive might actually be taking OpenAI, or the commercialization may be taking OpenAI. So I think you end up seeing what you want to see here. But at the end of the day, I still continue to believe that it's net positive for Microsoft here.
Which is why the stock closed at a record high, Fred. Do you think that that's what the market is excited about? The fact that whichever way the story goes, it's a win-win for Microsoft, whether it's via their stake in OpenAI, under the interim CEO, or if Sam Altman comes back, or whether they set up their own AI research subsidiary with Altman at the helm.
Yeah, I do think that this is a position where Satya Nadella, I really believe, pulled off his own coup, and he just played this excellently in a way that if we go the direction where OpenAI, rather Sam Altman, does take over as CEO of this new AI venture within Microsoft and potentially hires numerous OpenAI employees, that Microsoft will have effectively been able to hire or really acquire OpenAI without actually ever having to make an acquisition, doing it just through a sophisticated hiring. If, however, in the event that it goes a different direction and Sam Altman perhaps returns to OpenAI, in that case, Microsoft still continues to have access to the intellectual property produced by OpenAI. And perhaps at that point, it would be under a board that is more amenable to the commercialization and also innovation acceleration push that Mr. Altman actually appears to be at the head of. So net, I think, a positive across the board for Microsoft.
Right. Where does this leave competitors, especially when it comes to Amazon's AWS, which is also making strides in AI?
I think that each major hyperscaler, each cloud company is trying to develop its own generative AI strategy. Microsoft, I think, through their partnership with OpenAI, has just been leading the pack here. If we look more broadly, we're still waiting to see what Google might do with Gemini. We've seen I have not seen any recent updates there. And I think that just unless there is some major earthquake here that sets back OpenAI by months, if not years, then I think in general, the competitive landscape will not remain that drastically shifted. Perhaps some of the competitors will see a benefit from certain OpenAI customers, perhaps wanting to diversify their exposure to multiple vendors. But in that case, I still tend to think that if you're an OpenAI customer, using their APIs and buying their services, you're most likely to actually shift to Microsoft, which is hosting the same models and the same services on Azure. So overall, I mean, I think unless we really do see some new earth-shattering revelations here, that the competitive landscape likely doesn't shift tremendously. But if in the event Microsoft consolidates a tremendous amount of OpenAI expertise within its business, then I think Microsoft may actually have an additional step up in the competitive landscape, incremental to its existing OpenAI relationship.